I believe that ultimately every business has a human element, and if you respect human beings and you like partner with them, there's always going to be a much more likelihood to make a much bigger impact in general.
Thank you so much, Mansoor, for joining us this morning. Happy Friday. I met Mansoor originally from the Entrepreneurs First community, which is a collection of I guess, European founders, actually, where they bring them to the States and they have folks build and grow their companies here. Maybe, Mansoor, you can tell us just a little bit more about your story and how you guys decided to start Beatoven.
Yeah, we started Beatoven in 2021. We and before that, my background is I'm a musician. I come from a family of sitar players from India. We've been in music for like 7 generations, and I've been an artist for almost 22 years of my life. Um, but I've also been working in the signal processing, machine learning space since 2014. So it is a field called music information retrieval. It lies at the intersection of music and audio and signal processing. And yeah, so been at it in several capacities in startups, in labs, in masters. And yeah, here we are, like, pretty Beethoven since 2021 between two founders, me and Siddharth. And you mentioned entrepreneur first. So EF was indeed like one of the important parts of our journey. We started this company at Entrepreneur First in 2021. They also have a Bangalore cohort, and we were part of the Bangalore program.
I mean, I love how you're bridging multiple worlds. There's the artistic world, which is more musical, and then there's this intense, maybe more quantitative world of machine learning and signal processing. And I love that you're at the intersection of those two. I'd love to just understand a little bit more about the backstory behind Beethoven. How did you guys decide that you guys wanted to work on this? How did you guys initially and I think the model is also very interesting, which is that you guys actually have artists contribute to their records into the model. Maybe you can walk us through a little bit how you figured out that that was the type of business model you wanted to develop.
We started this company before generative AI was a thing, right? Like, so back in those days in 2021, um, we were just looking for a very good problem to solve. And the problem that we identified, given our backgrounds in the music industry, me and my co-founder said we both had experience scoring music for films, for games, for videos, and for podcasts. And we knew that there is a whole industry where content creators require music that can perfectly synchronize with their content. And we thought, like, okay, how about we just build an AI that could do this task, right? Like, and that was the genesis of the idea. And of course, we did a lot of user research. We spoke to like more than 500 YouTubers, filmmakers. We learned, like, okay, there was a clear pattern that was emerging in all our conversations where they would say, like, music is such an important part of any film that we create. And it's so hard to search the right kind of music that goes well with our vibe. And we were like, okay, we are going to attack this problem and we're going to solve this really well. And we believe generative music was the solution to that problem. And that's how we got started on this idea. Of course, like building the foundation model, building these technologies is expensive, so we needed resources. So we raised venture capital, and we built out a team. We hired some of the best PhDs from Europe, from US, joined the team, and then we have been at it since many years now. And the model that we adopted was one of consent and not of forgiveness. There's a difference between the two. It's like so most generative models are built by scraping content from the internet, where you take all of this data and then you build and then you get. Most of them are getting sued now, and there are lawsuits that they're fighting. We took a very different approach. We said, like, okay, we are going to go to the artists, we're going to educate them that this is what we are building, and we are actually going to pay them for the training data and get their licenses in place and do the agreements and have all the rights to train our model with this content. And yeah, very different approach, slower but more steadier is what I would say.
Yeah, I guess like that's actually a really good point, which is I see this actually also in the artistic community. I see a lot of designers who are very hesitant and to use AI, and they view the generative AI negatively as like this is gonna steal my job. Whereas like in San Francisco, I'd say we're a lot more like techno optimist, and we're like, yes, like if you can automate my coding job, like please do. How have you found the reception? And I think the model that you guys have is super unique compared to, for example, as you mentioned, a Suno or a OpenAI, where they're kind of just siphoning everything from the internet. How do those conversations go with artists and musicians, and have you seen them respond to the platform?
Oh, in fact, like, artists love it when you talk to them and you educate them about what technology is, it's funny that artists are always the first adopters of technology, if you always see historically, because they're the ones who take these new technologies and create something very interesting out of it, right? And when we kind of like educated them that we were trying to build something like this, they were more than enthusiastic. And also the way they saw it is the way how we were constructing the model is through a revenue stream for new revenue stream for artists. Right? They are always happy with the fact that okay, there are people coming to us and giving us new revenue opportunities because the art industry is a hard one. It's very hard to survive as an artist, and any new revenue opportunities are always welcome. So that got us a lot of opt-ins. A lot of musicians, big and small, started contributing data sets to Beethoven. And eventually, it got to a point where the company built a significant reputation in the music industry, where all the music traditional rights holders started coming to us and saying, like, okay, we have a catalog of 2 million songs, 1 million songs. How do we license it to you? And then that just scaled significantly and beautifully. And now we have our own foundation model, which is trained on 100% licensed content. We also kind of like do revenue sharing deals with them. So it doesn't burden the company a lot to do any sort of upfront payments. Also, they come from the philosophy that, hey, the other companies are not paying us. We want you guys to win. We want to support you. So we have so much supply side support to win in this market that it's only compounding with time. So I believe that ultimately every business has a human element, and if you respect human beings and you like partner with them, there's always going to be a much more likelihood to make a much bigger impact in general.
Yeah, I think there's I was talking to some folks about this, but I think there's an argument that maybe in the future there is just foundation model companies and data companies, and like those end up being the two types of companies that exist. But to your point, it's like on the LLM side, they just siphoned everything from the internet. Even the folks who are doing like the RLHF work, it does feel like they're getting paid like one time basically to, if you think about it, it's almost like they are selling out their industry, because if there's like one dermatologist that reveals all of the knowledge, gives the knowledge to the LLMs, they get a one-time payment for that, and then that just kind of gone forever into the LLM. So I love that the model you have is like very community driven. It's really collaborative. And then maybe we can talk a little bit about, we chatted about this briefly in person, but like some of the experimental work that you guys are doing on like the attribution side to figure out, is there actually a more equitable way to attribute if someone is using a specific part of the model that might have been trained by on someone's style or someone's work.
Yeah, so there is the base model, which is Maestro, and then there is the fine-tuned versions of Maestro. So the base model is basically the way we are doing attribution is very simple. It's volume-based attribution. So let's say there is a million tracks that went into training, and let's say one dataset owner has contributed 100,000 tracks. So we pass 10% of the revenue share back to that owner. So it's just rewarding volumes at the moment, but over a period of time, we will switch to a more fairer attribution where we are looking at the influence, the prompts, is there any likeness or any style or any genre influence that is causing a certain kind of output, and then isolating those with the training data and then finding likeness and attribution. And there is another concept called machine learning that we're looking at. It's not very scalable at the moment. It takes a lot of time to generate one attribution, but over a period of time, it would become much more efficient and scalable, and we would move to these systems. So it just becomes more fairer, and it doesn't only contribute, reward people who have larger volumes, but it also rewards the value of certain catalogs. Like there are certain catalogs that are much more popular and they could be smaller in volume, but they're actually contributing to much more traffic to your website. So we're going to look at all of those models. The other thing that we are also working on is on the fine tune level. The fine tune is more like, okay, I'm a star and I have like tons of followers on Instagram, and can I create my own likeness AI model and then monetize it? And this is super cool and interesting, and this is very fresh right now. We're working on this, and it's like they will be able to monetize directly. It's direct to fan monetization, super fan monetization, where the fan can just pay the artist through a fine-tuned model, and when we have a revenue share where a bigger chunk of the revenue goes to the artist and we just keep a small share of it.
Ooh, that's very cool. That is like kind of like the like maybe like Cameo is kind of like this, where you could make a video of a celebrity saying happy birthday to you, or like I guess there are certain artists that have like way more liberal takes on this. So like Grimes, I know for example, has like open source her voice, and she's like anyone can use my voice to create any sort of music. So um, that's super exciting. I'd love to hear about some of the use cases people are using the platform for today, the Beatoven platform, and where you guys are hoping to go over the next couple months.
Yes, traditionally this business has been focused on background music for videos, games, podcasts. It has scaled to millions of users on the consumer side, and we continue to get a very healthy organic traffic where users come organically, they sign up, they start creating, and they give prompts. And if they like the music, they just hit download, they pay a subscription, and that's it. It's an end-to-end flow. They also get a license that's automated from our website that comes straight into their mailbox, so they're completely protected on all ends. On the recent developments in the last 3 months, we have been focusing very heavily on the API business. We are working on growing it. So what we have found is, so if you go on Google search and you type this keyword AI music API, you will see that we rank number one for that keyword. So we started noticing a lot of enterprises started contacting us, and they were like, hey, do you guys have an API? Do you guys have an API? And it just kept coming up a lot in our conversation. We saw, okay, this is a pretty exciting opportunity where we could just do like licensing deals and license our API to other enterprises in media and entertainment to integrate this as a feature inside of their workflows. And that's where we are very heavily focused on. And the other aspect is fine tuning, which I mentioned. Like, we are talking to all the star artists at the moment, and we're trying to get them to like sign up for this because, like, there's a lot of educational element that's involved. They first need to understand what's AI, how does it work, and then, like, they want to partner with you, and then figuring out the rights, figuring out the different mechanisms of actually making it happen. That's where our heads are at.
And are there any areas where you're seeing AI really shine in versus the prior generation of technologies?
I think there is also the entire aspect of analysis. So basically, we also have a side hustle business, I would say. It's like a tool where we've built for catalog analysis. So what we believe is search is getting redefined, right? Like, so previously people would search for music by their favorite artists, by their favorite genres and favorite styles. But now people are prompting into these engines, and they're like, okay, I'm sitting at this cafe and it's a beautiful sunny day. Can you suggest me a nice song? So it doesn't necessarily have to generate. It could actually just search through an existing database and then find you the right song that works pretty well for that vibe. So we are redefining catalogs by giving our customers the ability to, uh, you know, pass their audio files through our foundation model, and then generate some very detailed summaries of their songs. Like, okay, what is the description? What is the intro? What is the genre? What is the mood, the feeling? So next time somebody searches for a very generic prompt, they can actually find the song not by the tags, but just by the prompt itself. This is like more on the analysis side. So it's not really generative. You're just redefining metadata. And there are tons of like this new use cases that are emerging in the music industry that we are seeing, and we are also kind of trying to capitalize on.
Yeah, having this rich metadata tagging actually seems really valuable. I don't know if you remember like the early days of Pandora, and they would suggest songs, but you would kind of get into this like local minimum where they would only start suggesting songs from the same artist or just very repetitive. So I feel like if you had richer metadata or like this more like a knowledge graph type of like a giant genealogy of all music, that would actually be really, really powerful. I don't know to what extent you guys have been building out this like tapestry of types of music across all the attributes that you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of going one step at a time. I mean, the people that we are working with are also not very comfortable with AI yet. They are still just like, like dipping their toes into this space. And so once they start seeing the value a little bit, they start going more deeper and be like, okay, can we do deeper contracts? Can we do more? And how do we get more out of this technology? So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Like, I believe 2025 has been a very experimental year for AI in general, because the traditional industry and the new AI industry is kind of trying to figure a way out. In my opinion, 2026 is going to be the year where everyone's just going to be like, okay, how do we integrate and make this like real world use cases and start working together?
So how far do you think we are from like personalized soundtrack of your life? So like I go around in my day and it just plays the right music for the mood.
I think that's already possible, but like I don't think that's the biggest thing that excites me. I think what is good, what excites me is more around like listening to your favorite artists and then having the ability to remix the music in your favorite style and your favorite vibe. So based on what you're doing, the same song takes a different shape. Maybe you're meditating, the same song becomes a little more calmer. If you're working out, it becomes more aggressive. So I think the ability to do that is very cool, and that is the level of personalization that we are going to see very soon.
Yeah, there were kind of early days of this. I don't know if you remember when Spotify launched the running tracks and it could actually increase the beats per minute. That was like maybe the most like juvenile version of this conception. And then it does kind of do the moods thing, but I think it's not it doesn't adapt the actual song that you're listening to, which I think is a good point because there's like kind of de novo music, but it doesn't have maybe the same emotional resonance as a song that you actually know and you're familiar with. And so it's more maybe about like still finding the ways in which you're connected to some fan base or some artist, but still matching the mood that you're in. I guess any last words? What are you excited about over the next couple months? What are your big milestones or goals? Things that you guys are looking forward to in the platform?
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing we are seeing is integrations with the bigger creator tools. I think that's going to be the next phase for us. So, maybe if you're using your favorite gaming engine, you're using your favorite video editing app, instead of coming to our website and generating a soundtrack, can you just directly generate it right there, right? Based on your visuals, based on your preferences, so it stays in your workflow and doesn't take you out of your workflow. I think that is what we are primarily focused on the demand side. On the supply side, we are just signing many artists. We are signing rights holders. We are getting so many. We are planning to launch a new foundation model early next year. So it's going to be bigger than what we've built so far, and it's going to have much higher quality. It's going to have vocals. It's going to have a lot of things. So we are really looking forward to that.
Amazing. Well, we look forward to it. And Mansoor, where do folks find you? How do people try Beethoven?
Yeah, you can find me on everywhere as Marak Music, Marakh Music. I post my music on videos and Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. But as Beatoven, it's www.beatoven.ai, and it's Beatoven.ai, not Beethoven. So just keep that in mind.
Beethoven. We love it. And do you still play sitar, your
I do
music
play
that
the
you
sitar.
make?
Yes, I perform, and the recent last concert I played was at the Media Labs in MIT. And I've been doing a lot of experimental performances lately, like interactivity with generative music, with sitar. So yeah, I'm still active as an artist.
Oh wow, okay. We look forward to hearing that too. I am actually so excited about this like cyborg digital and like physical acoustic combination.
Yeah,
I still think someone should start like classical EDM, but it hasn't happened yet.
it'll happen so very soon, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Mansoor, for joining us.
thank you.
All right, take care.